Hey, happy December 22nd. It's Wednesday afternoon, about 4:15 and already starting to get dark. Yesterday was this winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the shortest day, the longest night, and a real turning point in, in the zodiac and in the cosmos. So the beginning of the winter season, it's marked by the sun entering Capricorn, and it's that new start to the winter season. And from here on until the summer solstice in June, each day will get gradually longer and longer daylight and sunshine. And I realized that it was at the summer solstice that I pulled back from being so active in the group here, that I pulled back from writing regularly to folks on my newsletter list. And I was just looking back through the group, and I've shown up a few times, but I wanted to check in again and wish you all well at this end of 2021. The holidays coming up over the weekend. If you're celebrating Christmas, and then, just a week and a half until New Year's 2022. So a little more personally, I shared in the Aquarius full moon Leo season video, that was the last real video I made, about my decision to step back, do some personal processing around finding my birth family, around exploring more about ancestral astrology, my own research, my own reading, looking at my family's charts has been a fascinating adventure and exploration. And in November, I took an ancestral astrology course that was really a great format for exploring the patterns and the elements in family charts. And in the fall, September and October, I was dealing with health stuff. I was diagnosed September 3rd with ocular melanoma. It's a melanoma on the behind my retina in my right eye. And so I had scans, MRIs, tests, had surgery, had radiation, and it took up a lot of my energy in September and October. Treatment's over, and now it's a wait and see. And I'll have regular scans of my liver to make sure that the cancer hasn't spread. So until the scans in March, I'm moving on with my life. And I feel fine. My vision's still a little blurry, but the anxiety and the fear of going through the diagnosis and the treatment, that part's behind me, and feeling good about that. All of that really extended my summer sabbatical, or the break that I was taking in, stepping back from the business, stepping back from marketing or sharing or creating content. I've still been working with my one-on-one coaching clients. I'm really fortunate to have folks who are working with me one-on-one, diving deeper into their charts and aligning their lives, their work, their outlook to their chart, working with the transits and the movement of the sun through their chart, working with the energies of new and full moons for themselves, and really getting intimate with this language of astrology that can help us know ourselves more deeply. Getting more intimate with tuning into the cycles of energy and the invitations from the universe to pay attention to certain aspects of our lives, or certain energetic patterns within ourselves and within the collective. And 2020, 2021 have been intense years across the globe, and there have been astrological patterns associated with some of those difficulties. And I don't want to do a big overview of that right now, but we're still in this tension that has marked 2021 and that will perfect again in an exact square, that challenging aspect of the traditional Saturn mature responsibility. What are the boundaries and the forms and the structures? Challenging the planet Uranus, which is about freedom and awakening and busting up the structures and the rules and the boundaries. So we've been in this real struggle of Saturn in Aquarius, like the structure and the rules that apply to the collective, like vaccine rules, like travel restrictions, like quarantines and things like that we've seen in the world, coming up against this desire for personal freedom, for operating based on our values. Uranus in Taurus, awakening to our own personal value, to the values of our local, tangible communities. I know a lot of places around the world that people are staying closer to home. People have been growing more of their own food, creating gardens where they are, organic farming. Like these are Uranus and Taurus themes, waking up to the values of the earth, waking up to the values of our bodies and the values that we have immediate hands-on influence around. And so that big pattern of Saturn square Uranus is exacting for the third and final time. Both of the planets have been direct and retrograde this year. Uranus is still retrograde and Saturn is direct, and they're meeting up in that square exactly tomorrow, the 23rd. And so we're feeling that. You may be feeling a revisiting of that challenge of, mature responsibility and that seeking freedom, or that collective sense of responsibility and personal freedom and wanting to live based on what is important to you individually. And that is a struggle within each of us and in the collective. So that's something to know about. These planets are going to be moving kind of within range of one another, degree-wise, of that square throughout 2022. So these themes and these challenges are still going to be with us, and yet they're not going to be exact and as acute as they've been. But it's going to be that kind of confrontation that'll take some time to work out. Solstice is when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn. And so Capricorn energy, first of winter, it's an earth sign, it's cardinal earth. It's how do we begin practically? What steps do we need to take? What foundational pieces need to be in place? So Capricorn is a persistent, tenacious energy. It likes to get things going and take the next step. And that's partly why in our culture, we have that urge around New Year's to evaluate, how are things going? What structures do I want to put in place for the new year? And that can be structures around how you're eating or exercising or sleeping, structures around how do you keep your home or where do you want to live? How are you working and earning money and contributing? All these areas of our lives that we examine and think about the structures tend to be on our mind during Sun and Capricorn time. And depending on your own chart, that Capricorn energy is part of your chart in a different house of the chart. So a different area of your life is where you hold the Capricorn energy. For me, that's in the 10th house of outward contribution in the world, reputation and work and impact, and the 11th house of friends and community and sort of group engagement. And so during this time of year, generally for me, end of December and January is a time where I feel more aware of, conscious, excited about what am I doing with my work and my contribution and things like that. And I'm starting to feel that come alive, wanting to get more engaged and offering things again. And I've still been in this inquiry of what exactly is that? I'm still offering one-on-one coaching I'm still offering astrology readings, and I'm also open to doing one-off sessions for people who want that one-on-one coaching where we use the chart. We're informed by your personal astrology. And so if having a reading, a look ahead at 2022 and how the main energies and aspects will invite you into this exploration. How I believe that the astrology and the way that the planets are moving through our charts are an invitation to work with those energies yourself on your own journey, or to enter that conversation with the cosmos. You know, that's the expression I use. I'm like, let's check in, what's going on and how can we work with it? So those things are all still happening, but I'm also, working with my creativity and my what would be exciting and interesting for me to offer that would also be useful and helpful to those of you who want to learn more about your own astrology and to take a deeper dive into who you are and what motivates you and what's your soul after this lifetime. I really see astrology and our chart as a map of our soul's journey and some guidance for us in following that journey. I don't know about you, but I've had many chapters in my life, in this last 6 months certainly, where I sort of feel like I've lost the trail, or the trail I'm on feels kind of like it's going in the right direction, but I'm not really sure. And there are key places in the chart to look for that guidance, like our Chiron placement, the wounded healer energy, and say, hey, these are the lessons you're here to work out and heal. And from that, you've learned lessons. And those are the lessons and the energies that you're here to give back around. Our midheaven in our chart can say, this is energy that you bring to everything, no matter what. And if you can become more conscious of that and work with it and expand on how you express through that energy, whether it's just the zodiac sign at the midheaven, whether you have planets there at the midheaven or in the 10th house, that informs that kind of what's your contribution energy? What's the impact you're here to have energy? All questions around purpose and work that many of my clients come to me wanting to talk about, wanting to dive into. And so that's definitely part of what I'm offering now and through January is like, let's check in. Let's really see, where are you in your life? What's going well? What do you want to take forward with you into this new calendar year? And how do the planets support that? How is the universal conversation guiding you? How can you work with the energies by really aligning with yourself and your inherent energies, that map of you and your soul's journey, your chart? How can you work with that and anticipate these energetic chapters of the year coming up? So we're currently in the Capricorn season, the Sun in Capricorn chapter. We are currently in a Venus retrograde chapter. And Venus is retrograde only once every 18 months for about 6 weeks. And this Venus retrograde is in Capricorn, and it lasts until January 29th. And so this whole next month really is a time of Venus retrograde, reflecting on the Venus themes. What do we love? What do we value? How are we creating and engaging with relationships? How are we creating and engaging with things of value in our lives? That can be, how are we making money? It's our income or our investments, like our money issues, and our relationships. What's going well? How are we showing up for it? Venus in Capricorn is about like a practical love language. How are you showing your love? What are you doing? Acts of service. I know there's that 5 love languages book from many years ago, but Venus in Capricorn is very much like an acts of service. How do you show up and care for people who matter to you or your partner? So this time is time to reflect on your values and what matters. And if you want to do a one-off session around just refining your sense of your own values, or really checking in with that and seeing, is it aligned with your chart? You know, does it make sense? Or have you taken on values and beliefs from our society, your parents, schooling, that are close but not really at heart yours. And then we fine tune that. We can, tease it apart, and you can find the part that's really true for you. And this next few weeks, we're finishing the cycle or the chapter of the moon's nodes being in Sagittarius and Gemini. We talked about that on some past things, but basically we're finishing up a cycle that's asking us to examine our beliefs and to release those that don't serve, to let go of old beliefs or beliefs that we've taken on that were really someone else's or our culture, and to be curious about, to call on that Gemini energy, to be curious about what we really like, what we really want to engage with, what we're really, what we feel enlivened by. And those are great themes and questions. And that energy is at play until January 19th. And then the nodes, that axis of destiny, they call it, is moving into the Scorpio and Taurus axis, where we'll be asked to examine and let go of the Scorpio themed things in our lives, things that we're secretive about, or control and manipulation themes, the mystery, the deep, dark emotions that we keep hidden, and point ourselves towards the Taurus energy, which is embodiment, which is nourishing and seeking pleasure and comfort and tangible sensuality for us, and really what's important to us, values-wise. So that's going to be a big shift collectively on sort of what's our soul's journey for this next year and a half. We're all being asked to, and have been the last year and a half, to work with the Sagittarius and Gemini polarity, and to let go of our attachment to old beliefs, and to get curious about what's current by using that Gemini curiosity energy. And then as we shifts into Scorpio to Taurus, it'll be other questions of, where have we been really like enmeshed with other people and their emotions and their value? Scorpio's a bonding and in a merging energy emotionally. It's a deep, emotional, and powerful energy, but it's about examining what about that is no longer working for us. What are the secrets or the places in our lives that we try to control and use that power? And how can we release that and trust our bodies more, trust our senses, trust what is of value and that we can grow and nurture? In some ways, the Scorpio Taurus axis is death and birth, or dying and growing. Scorpio Taurus. So I'll probably be talking about that more coming into January. I'm realizing I'm enjoying this, so I think I want to come back to it. And I'm hoping it's useful for you to just have an idea of what are some of the themes and the questions for this time, so you can kind of orient yourself and find it. Or if these things have been coming up for you naturally and been really like confused by it, hearing the context of, oh, it makes sense. Astrologically, we've got this big tension of responsibility and freedom. And I've been really feeling that myself. Oh, it makes sense. We're still in that Saturn-Uranus conversation. Or, boy, I was feeling so light and free and fun-loving. And then, Sunday or Monday, I started feeling serious and practical and like, oh, I should get to work. Like, well, the sun moved from Sagittarius fire into Capricorn earth and practicality, ruled by Saturn, which is let's, pay attention and do the foundational work. What foundations are we building in our lives? And so most of us, the truth is most of us are naturally tuned into that. And having a way of seeing it and understanding the context gives us that creative freedom with it. And that almost a permission to like, oh, right, this is what's here. Let's be with that. Let's work with that. Let's follow the river, And then coming up in January, the other cycle that we talk about a lot as astrologers, we talk about a lot in our culture is Mercury retrograde. And people often go, uh-oh, Mercury retrograde, technology is going to fail or be on the fritz, communication is going to be mixed up. And knowing that that's coming January 14th until probably February 6th or 7th, we can plan for that. Okay, so contractual things, new health insurance plans, all those detail-y things that need to happen at the beginning of the year, get them done by the 14th. It'll go better, we more supported by the universe. So having that heads up, we can work with it. Check in with my thoughts here. It's December 22nd. There's probably a lot going on in your life. Perhaps plans with family and friends for Christmas, for the holiday week. Be gentle with yourself. Capricorn energy also says, take the practical next step, right? The building blocks. Doesn't have to be big and fancy. Back to basics is kind of the energy of Capricorn season. And its opposite is Cancer. Nurturing, nourishing yourself, caring for yourself. Okay. And it's quite possible that after the holiday weekend, that time between Christmas and New Year's, you may be in a self-reflective mood. You may want to start thinking ahead about the next year. And if I can support you in that with a coaching session or an astrology reading, please reach out. I am home and my schedule is pretty open next week if you'd like to set something up. If you are interested in gifting someone else an astrology reading, I have gift certificates offering half-hour sessions, hour sessions, hour-and-a-half sessions, depending how much you want to gift and how interested you think the person would be. So message me here or send an email via the website, tiffandillon.com, and I'll send that out for you. Not a big push, but just that I'm available and am still working on the ideas of how do I most want to show up and contribute and serve in the year going forward. Hope you're all doing well. Look forward to this page, this YouTube channel, this whatever, wherever this shows up, being a more engaged place to connect and to share what's going on. So I'd love to hear from you and wish you all the best for happy winter holidays and the upcoming new year. I'll pop in again. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.